What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Sam Ehlinger's throwing mechanics. We're going to be talking about how to throw on the run with some velocity, how to make these throws within the pocket, how to correct the lean out of your throwing motion, and the correct base that quarterbacks need to have while they're standing back there in the pocket, okay? And guys, if you're a quarterback and you want to get better at reading coverages, understanding defenses, that's one of the most important aspects of the quarterback position. Check out that link in the description that says Learn How to Read Defenses. 100-plus breakdowns plus 16 new breakdowns every single month, all on defense content, right? We talk about how to identify coverages, the difference between certain coverages, advanced coverages that you guys will see at the college level, and just how to beat those coverages. So if you guys want to get access to those videos, check out that link in the description to get signed up on my website. Let's get started with this breakdown. So number one here, we're going to talk about how when you throw on the run, it's all about torque, right? You got to be able to keep your hips level to the target. You got to be able to close your shoulders, and you want to step with your throwing side leg. Your throwing side leg is like when you're stepping with your left leg when you're doing a normal throw from the pocket. So you see how Ehlinger's out here, and he steps with the right leg, and this is an absolute dot in the end zone, right, into some tight coverage. So let's talk about what makes this throw work, why he's got so much power behind this ball, right? Because obviously a strong guy, right? If you guys have seen the videos of him working out, he's a beast in the weight room, right? So that certainly helps with how much power he's able to create. However, mechanics play a role in that too. You can't have crazy bad mechanics and just be strong and you expect to throw the ball well, right? You can only get away with that for so long. So you see when he starts to make this throw, he's stepping with the right leg, and that's when his shoulders are starting to go back. That's one of the most beneficial things for a quarterback when they're throwing on the run, but at the same time, your hips got to stay level. So many quarterbacks, especially when they throw, well, more so when you throw to the left is more common when you throw to the left, but also on the right. They'll step here, but when they finish, they don't keep their hips square to the target. They'll let their hips bail out, and they'll go this way, which causes that ball to die. They don't have enough power on this. When you're on the run, you got momentum. You're generating momentum because you're running full speed, especially in a situation where you got to escape the pocket. It's not a basic sprint out where you could get out, get around, square up the target, chop your feet down that everybody likes to teach. This is a situation where you got to get out, you got a guy chasing you, you got to be full speed on the run, and we got to be able to close my shoulders, step with the right leg, and generate some power and be accurate with the ball. So the key points to be able to do that, you want to step with your throwing side leg in the direction of the throw. If you step with your throwing side leg in the direction of the throw, your hips are going to be at that accurate spot, at least at that release point. However, if you let your hips bail out of there, that's what's going to be the problem, and that's going to cause those inconsistencies in the throw. So stepping is not just the only thing. So you got to step, and your shoulders go back to create torque, so you could have this kind of twitchy motion where that left leg shoots through and you have that coil effect to get that ball through, right? So you step here, shoulders go back, and then you see how he swings that left leg through, right? He swings that left leg through, but while he's swinging that left leg through, this is a great position to be in, right? Good release point here. Shoulders are square. Hips are square to the target. That's how we generate power, and that's how we shoot this thing out to the target with some velocity, right? If he were to be here and when he's releasing this ball, his hips are starting to go this way and his hips are starting to fall out, or maybe his elbow's swinging way down low. His elbow's a little bit low. Well, again, it's tough to think about on the run, but when your elbow goes low like that, sometimes it tends to push your release high, but he's still at a good spot. It's not too low to where he's causing a lean out of it with his upper half. He's able to step, swing that left leg through so he does not lose power, keeps his hips square, keeps his shoulders square, and emphasizing that wrist flick right at the target. That's what you can't stress. That's what I cannot stress enough, as well as stepping with the right leg. Shoulders go back. Your hips got to stay square. Your shoulders got to stay square, but how can I be accurate? I try to keep my head level. I emphasize that wrist flick in the direction of the throw, swing that left leg through so we don't lose power, and you see how he stays relatively square to the target the entire time. That's a great mechanically sound throw. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So coming out here, that's just a dart into very tight coverage. It's a great shot there by Ehlinger. So now we're going to be talking about what causes him. He has a little bit of a lean out of his throw, and I guarantee you he'd be the first one to say that too, because you could always get better, right? Every single quarterback from youth ball all the way up to the NFL, they can always get better. As soon as they think that they can't get better, that's when they're not going to get better, right? And that's any player. If you think, what pisses me off is when guys will tell me, hey, I'm good on everything else, I just need to work on this, right? No, you could always get better. You can always improve. You're not the best in the world, so you can always improve. And even the best in the world need to improve, right? So this is something that he could definitely improve on, and the reason why behind it, because he's got a great base in the pocket, right? He's nice and relaxed with his shoulders, but when he comes to throw, you see how he kind of has a little bit of a lean out of there. You see how his upper half's kind of leaning down. The only reason is because his back hip is a little bit delayed, and he kind of swings that leg out. Now, when you swing that leg outside of your frame like this, it causes your front side to dip. That's just how the body works, right? You want to pretend like when you're sitting there in the pocket that you got like a pole going down the middle of your back, and you want to just be able to rotate through that pole. You want to let that front hip open up. You want to let your hips shoot through. In the next clip, he does it a little bit better. But again, you could have the correct sequence, right? You see how his front front foot's down. He's taking his shoulders back. He's in this L. If you guys have been watching this channel, you guys have heard me talk about the sequence before. He's in this L angle. His front foot's down. He's shooting through with his hips to rotate through. It's just a little bit delayed. And when your knee starts going out in this direction and you're not squeezing your knee together, like you want to take the inside part of your knee, this is a good way to think of it. Take the inside part of your knee and try to bring that straight through to the other inside part of your knee. That will help your hips rotate through a little bit better, and that will counteract the shoulder lean, right? So for quarterbacks, if you guys have this problem where you kind of dip your front shoulder for power, try not to really like think of it you want to throw up and down. Maybe think of it like you want to push through with that back leg. You want to push at the target. And Ehlinger has a great push off that back leg. It's just we got to be able to push and rotate. You got to be able to open up, not just drive your back hip. You got to be able to open up your front hip to get your hips square to the target. He just kind of swings that leg around, which causes that dip out of the throw, which pushes that follow through a little bit high. But again, still an accurate ball, still a great shot downfield. That's just a little bit something that he can improve on, and I know a lot of young quarterbacks, that's why I'm even addressing it, a lot of young quarterbacks have that issue. They have that problem, so that's something that you can do to correct that issue, right? But again, you see the positives in this side is that he's very relaxed with his upper half, right? That allows him to generate maximum force with his legs, produce ground force, rotational force, because he's relaxed. He's not holding that ball up by his ear, right? You see a lot of young quarterbacks hold this thing up by their ear. They're real tense in their shoulders, and that's not, you never see an elite passer do that. You don't see a great passer hold the ball up by their ear. There's not a single one in the NFL that raises that ball up by their ear, right? They have that thing relaxed. Even Peyton Manning, he's a guy who has a very active ball carriage, right? He's always moving his hands. He doesn't even lift that thing to his ear. He has that thing in that nice, relaxed position. His elbows are relaxed, so you could produce more force from your legs and from your hips, right? And again, I cannot stress enough how strong your base has to be in this pocket, because that's where your power is going to be coming from. It's coming from that base. Quarterbacks need to live in that squat rack so they could generate power from their legs, be able to drive and rip this thing downfield. Let's watch this throw full speed, and you see it's a dart over the middle because of that ground force. Now, let's talk about this clip here. So this is going to be a good angle. I know the clip's a little blurry. I had to zoom in on this clip, but you see how he's here, and when he's sitting in his pocket, where are his feet at, right? His feet are just outside of his shoulders. I'll play this full speed. And you see there's a great shot down the middle over the top. That's a great ball. It's a really big-time throw. And we want to talk about here again, feet are just outside of his shoulders. That's where we want to be, right? Because if I could be in a strong base with my feet just outside my shoulders, slight bend to my knees, I'm able to drive off of this back leg. And when I strike the ground, I have a powerful front leg strike. I'm not extending. I'm not locking out with that leg. And I'm able to push and rotate through. Again, you're going to see a little bit of a lean here, right? But that's, we already addressed that issue. But you see how much he's pushing, right? And when your base is wide and when you can push off of this back leg, like you want to think of it like, obviously you don't want the same long stride, but think of it like you're a pitcher, right? You're on a mound. You want to push off of that rubber for power. Same idea. You're in your base. You want to push off of that back leg for power, pushing off that inside arch to get that front foot in the grass, right? I want my front foot to be down in the grass or the turf, whatever you want to call it, fast, because that doesn't necessarily mean your release is quicker, but it starts the process quicker, right? You get your front foot in the ground, my hip can come through now. My release can be a little bit faster. It's not automatically going to be fast if you don't rotate through with your hips and you're not clean with your sequence, and you're not getting that front foot down as your shoulder is closed, and you're nice and relaxed, and you're rotating down that big pole that goes down the middle of your back, then you're not going to do anything. So your front foot getting down does not automatically guarantee a quicker release. It will speed up the process, which usually is a quicker release, but you still got to do the things like drive your hips, keep your shoulders square. And you see how he's here? He kind of swings that out around again, so a little bit of a lean out of there, right? That's the only reason. If he could rotate through a little bit more, think about opening up that front hip and really focus on getting your hips square to the target, then we're good, right? But again, a great throw, and he's consistent back there from this pocket because of your base. Your base is everything, right? It starts from the ground up. If you have a good base, like Ehlinger has, you can build up, right? You can build up from the ground up and fix those little mechanical things with your upper half, with your hips and everything. But it starts from that base. Too many guys have a narrow base. Too many guys have their feet super close together. They're narrow, right? You want to be able to have a slight bend from your knees, feet just outside your shoulders, so you could drive. You get that front foot down with a slight bend. You get it down quick while that shoulder's closed, and you let your hip drive swing that ball through, and we stay square to the throw for torque. Let's watch it again full speed. Great base in the pocket here by Ehlinger. Strong base for a shorter guy. I think he's not too much. I don't know how tall he is or what, but for not being a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback, it's very important that you keep your base. Don't get caught up in trying to see over everything with the extended legs. Try to keep that strong base so we could drive and we could get as much power as possible, because obviously a 6'5" guy is going to have an easier time maybe throwing those harder throws downfield. Okay, all right, guys. I really hope this gave you some value. Hope this helped you guys in terms of your mechanics and understanding base, understanding throwing on the run, and just what causes a lean out of the throw. If you guys have any questions, please leave those those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, again, if you want to get better reading coverages, understanding defenses, check out that link in the description. It says how to read defenses. I'll see you guys next time.